I'm Amy Weisz from the Onteora Middle School High School, and I just want to thank you for writing this epic piece of literature. It's amazing to see the reactions of students every year when they read it. 50 years later, it's still completely shocking. The events, the language, it's just wonderful, and thank you.
My name's Carol Stanley, and I'd like to let Harper Lee know how important the book To Kill a Mockingbird is. I read it later in life, but it's more powerful and important now than ever. People have forgotten the civil rights movement, and there are comments from the Tea Parties about how it's not an important act. And so I want everyone to read again To Kill a Mockingbird. We're celebrating the 50th anniversary. So thank you.
Being African American and a Southerner, this book affected me in perhaps a little different way. I can't imagine the horror of being black in Alabama at that time. I mean, it's just terrifying. But I will say this, the one thing that I took away from the book more than anything else was that doing the right thing is not easy. We live in a time of quick fixes, and everybody wants an award. And the nobility of Atticus shows that you don't have to have the award. You just have to know in your heart that you've done the right thing.
Hi, Miss Lee. I'm Kathy Sweeney. I'm assistant librarian at Perkiomen School in Pennsylvania. I first read To Kill a Mockingbird when I was in 8th grade, and I remember being shocked and horrified by the ending and so surprised when Boo Radley showed up. I reread the book about 6 months ago, and I was just amazed by how beautiful the writing was and the stories about Scout and Scout's childhood that I had overlooked the first time as a youngster. At the school where I work, the high school classes are reading your book now, and they're just as moved by the book as I was too many years ago, 30-some years ago. It's amazing the influence it still has today, and thank you so much for doing this.
Hi, I'm Sue Rogers-Burdick. I'm a school librarian part of my life, and the other half of my life, I'm a public librarian. A few years ago, I went out to Minneapolis for the training to do the big read, and we chose To Kill a Mockingbird in our area. That was the most marvelous thing that's happened to me in the last few years. The book means so much because as an adult, I can read so much more into it than as a high school student. And I can also I can explain to the students how much it means as you read it 1 year, you read it 5 years, you read it 10 or 20 years. It's just a fantastic book, and you say, oh my gosh, it makes more sense as I read it a second and third time.
Hi, I'm Jean Padovan. I'm from the Timberland Regional Library System in Olympia, Washington. I first read To Kill a Mockingbird because I had to. It was on my reading list at the University of Pittsburgh when I was a freshman. And so I approached it as a requirement, and I started becoming engaged around page 7. And it didn't change my life, but it certainly enhanced it. So jump forward 50 years, I just married a man whose favorite, the other librarian, whose absolutely favorite book in the world is To Kill a Mockingbird. And I, as a result of this, am going to be bringing him home the 50th anniversary edition. So thank you, Harper Lee, for enhancing the lives of me throughout my life. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nancy Abbey. I first read Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird when I was 12 years old, and like many people, I'm sure almost everyone says it changed their life. It did change mine. I think it's very meaningful for all Americans, and I think it's actually changed not just me, but America. And I've read it about 10 times or maybe 12, and the last time I read it was in Monroeville, Alabama. I would read pieces of it in the motel at night and then walk the streets. And I ended up in the courthouse, sitting in the witness chair. And it was really a remarkable experience for me. It's a wonderful book that has just as much meaning about goodness and kindness and living a good life today as it did 50 years ago. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shari Stein, currently a librarian at J.P. Stevens High School Library in Edison, and I was an English teacher, but back when I was a student in high school is when I first read your book, and I just want to thank you, Harper Lee, for being an inspiration to students and to teachers and readers everywhere. Everything from the language that you use, the writing, and the story, of course, has inspired students and has given students and teachers so much to think about and to go beyond your story and have it filter into their lives and hopefully change them in some way, whether it is in terms of helping to change society or become a writer, a lawyer, and hopefully just a good person. So thank you very much, Harper Lee.